they tend to concede goals even against the teams that you would expect them not to concede against. Arsenal at the moment are not particularly great in attack. I know they have Martinelli back, they have Saka back as well. But they are
Good day, our fans. Uh, Welcome to today's show. The show is the Let's Go podcast. I will welcome you back from the uh, Eid Mubarak holidays. We hope you are fine, and we hope you have enjoyed the two episodes that we've dropped on our YouTube channel. Last week, we spoke about several topics. We discussed about the return of Igor Tudor to Juventus. Since that time, it's been one win out of one for the Juve legend, even though he has a serious match coming this weekend. We also spoke about the Super Eagles and the chances of qualifying for the next World Cup taking place next year. How slim the chances are and what results need to go our way. Today, we'll be discussing a couple of interesting topics. As you are aware, Kevin De Bruyne has announced that he'll be leaving City at the end of the season. We'll be discussing briefly about a phenomenal player in Kevin De Bruyne. We'll be talking about the top four race in Italy and in England. We'll be talking about the upcoming Champions League fixtures involving the mouth-watering clash between Arsenal and Real Madrid at the Emirates. Speaking about that fixture, we'll be doing a combined 11 of Arsenal and Real Madrid. Yinka, you are giving us your combined 11 of Arsenal and Real Madrid. Same thing for you, Ahmed. Also be talking about the title challenge in Spain. 3 points between Madrid and Barcelona. 2 El Clasicos coming up. 1 in the Copa del Rey final and 1 in the league. Could that be the decider for the league challenge? Before I go further, congratulations, Yinka. Yamal Musiala pulled his hamstring today in the Bayern match.
I'm just finding out.
He would almost be unavailable against Inter on
Lautaro is declared fit.
On Tuesday. And Lautaro has been declared fit. So nice one, nice play, Yinka. We are happy for you.
Okay, so I'm actually just finding out. I didn't pay attention to their game. I just saw that they won 3-1. So, oh wow, Musiala. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Of all players that could get injured.
We'll get to that. I'm sad that he's injured, but well, it is what it is.
It is what
We'll get to that.
It is what it is. Arsenal versus Real Madrid. That's the most befitting place to start tonight. And few weeks back, personally, I wouldn't give Arsenal a chance. But I'm getting some vibes as we come close to that match. I'm just feeling some Emirates miracle. Yinka, I know you don't share my optimism.
Two bad cast is not here to give you a befitting response.
What can you say about that match? What are the key battles in that match?
Well, it's football, so obviously anything can happen. But it would be a lie if I said that Real Madrid are not favorites for this game. My only concern going into that match would be Real Madrid's defending. because they tend to concede goals even against the teams that you would expect them not to concede against. Arsenal at the moment are not particularly great in attack. I know they have Martinelli back, they have Saka back as well, but they are still lacking a point man. So, and regardless of how you want to look at it, that's a big minus if you want to go far in the Champions League. You need a very, very good attacker. I also read that they've lost Gabriel, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes.
So they've lost Gabriel as well. Key battles in that game obviously will be, I would say, on the left, because Arsenal, Saka remains Arsenal's danger man. So on the Arsenal, I said left wing, right wing rather, or on the right wing, Saka remains Arsenal's danger man. Also on Real Madrid's left wing, you have Vinicius Junior, and also Mbappe, who tends to drift to the left, quite often. Even though when you look at it, from a positional sense, he's their main attacker. So I would like to see how Arsenal hold their own against Real Madrid's attack. You have an attack that is very devastating. Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Mbappe. And Jude Bellingham from midfield that can also chip in with goals and can also make late runs into the box. So I'd like to see how Arsenal's defense holds up against them. Like I said earlier, Real Madrid's defense not too impressive. So I expect that they would concede regardless of Arsenal's struggles. But would Arsenal have enough to stop Real Madrid from scoring 2 or maybe 3 goals? That is what I'm not so convinced about.
Okay. This is how we would run the combined 11. We'll go from goalkeeper position to the striker position, and uh, we'll take it in turns. So if I start with the goalkeeper position, Yinka will tell me his goalkeeper, Ahmed will tell me his goalkeeper, up to the striking position like that. Then you will top it up with predictions for the match, whichever way you want it. Outcome,
Just the first leg or both legs?
just the first leg. Just the
Just the
first.
first leg. Okay.
We can do the first leg and the outcome generally,
Okay.
at least for now.
Okay.
So, goalkeeper, Arsenal, Real Madrid combined 11. Goalkeeper, who is your goalkeeper, Inka?
Courtois.
Courtois,
Obviously, Courtois.
Ahmed.
Courtois hands down. Just debate
There's no
positions like
debate.
that.
I mean, and this is not to say that Raya is a bad goalkeeper, but come on. It's Courtois we're talking about here. Courtois is a fantastic goalkeeper.
All day, every day, and twice on Sundays.
Exactly. Yeah, it has to be Courtois.
Left
I
back.
don't even think it's close.
Really?
Left back. I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close.
Okay, we move on. Left back.
For me, Mendy. For me,
Who's
Arsenal doesn't
Arsenal's?
have a consistent
Does
left back, so
Arsenal have
to
a
say.
left back? That's the
They don't have
question.
they've been improvising, so to say. They've
So
fielded
today they are
Uh,
Calafiori.
using Lewis
I think,
Kelly.
They've
The
fielded,
next day they are
yeah,
using Calafiori. Next
so
day
I
you're
think
seeing Silva there. Sometimes maybe Zinchenko. So
Mendy
yeah,
is available.
well,
yes, he is.
Oh, okay. So
He
left back,
is.
Mendy.
Yes.
Yinka.
for me, I'd rather leave that position open because
You have to fill
I'm
it
not
up.
really I'm not
You
really a
can't,
fan of Messi either. But if I
you
had to
can't
pick
play.
one, I'll
You
go with
can't play
Mendy.
with 10 players. Okay,
If
Mendy.
I'll go with Mendy.
and let
Right
the
back.
player get on the field and get a red card.
Right back. That should be Timber
I'll,
versus
I'll give it to Timber. I'll give it to Timber.
who is Real Madrid's right back these days? Carvajal,
Vasquez has been the one for a long while.
Vasquez,
Valverde. Valverde.
Valverde. So almost the same problem
No,
that
no, no.
Arsenal have at left back.
Valverde has been on special locations. He
Yeah,
has not been their
makeshift
consistent
most cases.
right back.
So
So
Timber on the right.
Vasquez has been the one. So I'd rather go with Timber on the right.
Yinka, do you
He's
agree?
played them more often than
Well,
Carvajal or Valverde.
would go with well.
You can't
I
leave
mean,
it
if you had to compare Timber and Carvajal, it's a no-brainer. It has to be Carvajal. But Carvajal has not been available that often this season. So,
Definitely, that's the
well,
problem.
let's just say Timber. because Cavani has not been available.
Centre back pairing. Centre back pairing.
For me, Rudiger and Gabriel.
Rudiger and Gabriel.
That's a
Yes,
tough one.
That's
For me, I'll go with Rudiger and Saliba. Particularly because of Saliba's ball playing abilities. I'm not particularly convinced about Gabriel's ball playing ability. You need someone that is rugged and someone that has a bit of finesse. So
okay. Gabriel, Rudiger, Saliba, Rudiger. Midfield. So are we going with a midfield of 3 or 2?
3, definitely. They both play 4-3-3
they
system.
both play 4-3-3.
So,
Okay.
so
Midfield of 3.
that's nothing to argue about.
Well, Real
Yes.
Madrid plays 4-4-2 sometimes, but generally, in fact, I'll say most times they play 4-4-2, but generally 4-3-3 would be ideal for this kind of situation.
Okay. Who makes your cut? Midfield 3. Yeka.
I would go with
So I'm going with
Declan Rice.
okay.
I would go with Declan Rice. I would go with Bellingham and so now I'm caught between Modric and Valverde. Reason being that based on current form, you would definitely argue against dropping Valverde. He's been super consistent this season. And Modric, on the other hand, Modric is Modric. He's class anytime, any day. But recently, I think the age is catching up to him, so he's being managed. Sometimes he comes into the game to manage the game. He doesn't get that constant. So I would not restart to drop Valverde. So I think I would go with Valverde, Bellingham, and Declan Rice.
Valverde, Bellingham, Declan Rice. Yeka.
Okay, so my choice may be a bit controversial here, but I'm still going to go with it.
That's why we are here.
Personally, I feel like Thomas Partey is Arsenal's best midfielder. That's just my opinion, and I'm not so convinced about what's his name now, Declan Rice's ability to control games. I know he's a good player. He runs, the lines, he runs the channels very well, has lungs, work rate and all of that. But his ability to really control games, I do not have it. And in my ideal midfield of 3, I need a defensive midfielder that, obviously breaks opponents' play. I need someone that controls the game. And I need someone that can run, from post to post. For someone that can run box to box, I'll go with Bellingham because obviously I think that Bellingham edges Declan Rice. I'll pick Thomas Partey for my defensive midfield position and then go with Luka Modric, person that offers control.
So, Modric, Partey, Bellingham.
Yes.
Declan,
Valverde,
and Bellingham. So there's Bellingham on both sides. Okay, Bellingham is the only similarity on both sides. Partey is a good choice. I have to agree. In attack, Ahmed.
Obviously, whatever you want to go with in attack, you have to start from Modric and you have to start from Mbappe and Vinicius. The question now lies in the third option. For me, I would go with Rodrigo over Saka.
Rodrigo over Saka.
Yeah, and I have like clear reasons.
You have to adjust your camera angle. So Ahmed, you're having Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo fire on straight up like that.
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Yeka.
I agree with Ahmed. Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo.
Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo.
You don't want
no. Saka must be Saka must be so.
You don't want us.
Okay.
You don't want Arsenal fans to burn down our podcast.
Wait.
Their golden son is not.
Let us do it like this. Yeah.
I mean, most people believe that when you make choices like this, you are saying that
space for Saka in midfield.
How? Unless you want to play 4-4-2
Midfield,
or a 4-2-4.
I'll, I'll probably go 2-7-2 like Thiago
Like
Motta.
Thiago Motta. But just to address what Ahmed said about Arsenal fans, not liking our choices and stuff like that. Most people usually assume that when you make choices like this, you are saying that the other player is not good. No, we're not saying that
Yeah,
Saka is
it's
not good.
actually yeah.
Saka is a fine player, but I think that Rodrigo is a better right winger. Um, it takes massive talent, character, and attitude to be able to play consistently at the level that Rodrigo has played for a club like Real Madrid.
Definitely.
Forget that Saka has also been doing it, for a long time with Arsenal, but Real Madrid is just a different level, and Rodri has proven it several for over the years. So I'll go with Rodri. Then with Vinicius and Mbappe, I don't think there's any need to give reasons for that.
Do I need to ask who the manager will be?
Yeah, you are very correct, Ika, because it is actually a tough choice to make. This is not saying Sakai is bad or is not good enough,
Yeah.
but it is one decision that is really hard to make.
What if we put Saka at left back?
You obviously got that idea from a madman.
I know. Well, he has played left back. He has played left
Attacking
back
left
under
back.
Arteta in the past. He has played left back under Arteta in the past. So, well, we could consider it. Even during the last, was it Euros or World Cup? England fans were saying, put Saka at left back, put Palmer at right wing, do this, do this. So, it's
He
always
was
an
not.
option.
He didn't even bench Palmer convincingly at some point. You
So,
understand?
it's always
Those
an
are those
option.
are reasons why Rodrigo has to take that spot, because Rodrigo has done it over the years. He has consistently played at least minimum of 33 league games over the last couple of years, minimum of that, and he has
Rodrigo is a
contributed
beast. That's one player
I
I would
mean,
take.
at a
That's
higher
one player I would
standard.
take from Madrid.
Real Madrid got Mbappe, and people were saying, "No, Rodrigo would have to, take
Leave
take a seat or sit
or
on
go
the
to
bench or
bench.
leave." But this guy has still shown everybody that, man, I'm a bad guy. I think I don't know if it was Bellingham or Mbappe that was saying it the other day that one of the most talented players that they have in that Real Madrid squad is actually Rodrigo. So the guy is actually very talented, and like I said, it's not just talent that you need to succeed at a club like Real Madrid. You also need character
Attitude,
and
character.
attitude, character. He's got everything. So I'll go with Rodri.
Another thing you should consider is all Madrid attackers are predominantly right and prefer to operate from the left. As much as Rodrigo falls into that category, also, he's one player who can conveniently go on the right side, make as much impact as any other person. He can play up top, he can play on the left. But would you sacrifice Saka to play on the left? We've not seen him. I'm not saying he can't, but we've not seen him do that. We've seen Rodrigo do that
Yeah, I'm
over
saying he
and
can't,
over
sir.
and over,
I
over
don't
and
think
over and
I don't
over.
think Saka can play on the left.
So
Even if he can play
uh,
half as good as Rodrigo can
those
on
are
the left.
those are the qualities why I would rather go with the Rodrigo than Saka.
Anyways, on Yinka's side, Arsenal Madrid combined level, we have three Arsenal players.
Oh wow,
Saliba, no, sorry, two Arsenal players.
two.
Saliba and Partey.
I wasn't even counting. Oh
Oh,
wow.
sorry. Three. Timber,
No, with Timber now and Timber. Yeah.
Saliba, and Partey. While Madrid has eight players. Do I need to ask who the manager is?
Yeah, that,
The
that,
brain
that,
behind
that's
Pep
all.
Guardiola.
Although
Obviously,
Arsenal fans might pick Arteta, but.
obviously it's Big
You
Carlo,
would you won't pick the brain behind Pep Guardiola.
the CPU
The
of
guy that gives
Guardiola.
us Guardiola a career.
That means you are saying Guardiola is a bad coach.
So while on Ahmed's side, we also have three players: Gabriel, Timber, and Declan Rice. In all, Arsenal has featured, I think, five players combined from both of our analysts. Madrid is obviously a stronger team, regardless of how you look at it.
Yeah.
But then, for we neutrals, even though the probability is small, we are praying for Arsenal to cause an upset. Madrid cannot win the Champions League for the 15th time,
16th.
for the 16th time, and the next person has 7 titles. It's embarrassing to the rest of Europe.
Well, for to that, I'll say speak for yourself. Oh, yes, speak for yourself. Personally, I wanted Madrid out when they faced Atleti, but since they've gone past Atleti, I'd rather have Arsenal out than Real Madrid because
Who's the next person after Madrid?
AC Milano,
Oh,
King
sorry, I
of
completely
Italy,
forgot.
Old
Italian
Glory,
king, Italian king in Europe,
European DNA.
Old
European
Glory.
DNA.
European
Yeah,
DNA. You don't buy
Old,
socks with money.
you know the
yeah,
people they call Old Taker, Old
DNA,
Taker.
the DNA of our
You don't buy socks with
forefathers.
money.
Our
AC Milan
forefathers,
now, Old Taker, Old
our
Taker.
forefathers did not play. Our forefathers were not playing. Move back for Jari, abeg.
Maldini didn't die for this.
No. We'll not take this. Okay, continue.
Old Taker. What was I saying? Sir? I would have I would have preferred Madrid out, obviously, for the same reason that you mentioned. You know, it's almost looking like an embarrassment for the rest of Europe. The way Real Madrid have made the Champions League their tournament. You know, they in the last 10 years, I think they've won it 6 times. So it's crazy. But if they were going to be knocked out, I would have preferred against Atleti. If they were meeting a different team in the quarterfinal, maybe I would have wanted them to be knocked out as well. But against Arsenal, I'm not sure I can undo Arsenal fans if they, by any chance, go through against Real Madrid and get to the final or even win the Champions League. I'm not sure I'm ready for that
Incarnate
stress.
What
Eh?
did they do to you?
They
What did
didn't
they
do
do to
anything to
you?
me. They didn't
You
do
don't want
anything to
Saka
me.
to start over Rodrigo. At the same time, you don't want Arsenal to win the UCL. Why?
I mean, you have a team that has not won the Premier League since 2004. That thinks that all of their players are the best players in the world. Imagine if they win the Champions League. I mean, I don't think I'm ready for that kind of analysis and having to convince people or argue with people that you are actually delusional. Sorry to say.
Odegaard will be thrown in the Ronaldo Messi discussion.
I mean, I'm not
In
sure
any
the football
case,
For
world is
doing
ready for that.
the unthinkable, you want Arsenal the UCL.
in any case,
I don't
in
think I'm
any
ready for it.
case,
Let Real Madrid just win it. Let's know that we're all slaves. Than for Arsenal to now win it. And
we would rather be slaves to Madrid than let Arsenal
now
cause
bow down to Arsenal for one season.
world chaos. In any case, there are 3 other fixtures in the Champions League this week. There's Bayern against Inter, there's Barcelona against Dortmund, and there's PSG hosting Aston Villa. Bayern against Inter is another interesting fixture. It's a slippery fixture. You know, both teams look like they can strangle each other any moment. You know, that fixture is one of those fixtures that the two teams are looking strong into the team, and somebody can just snooze and first leg can be 3-0 or 4. You know, it's that kind of slippery fixture. You can just make one mistake and everything will go to shreds. It's another fixture that we are looking forward to. As an Italian fan, I really want Inter to go for. I mean, I don't even mind.
Are you sure?
If Inter likes, they should win the Champions League. It's not my business. Honestly, I don't really care at this point.
We are not even close to you guys, so it will just be our fault. So I
Uh,
pity us too. Now.
I can still dunk on you people now.
So pity us. Let us even
So
win like 4%.
so I'm not bothered. Uh
Maybe you guys pity us in the Copa.
And
okay. We should
you guys
we
have
should
been
check.
beating us this season now.
We
So
should
that
check
one
that.
is certain. You
City,
guys are qualifying for the final.
So Barcelona Dortmund is another my newly adopted team, Borussia Dortmund. Barcelona Dortmund is another
what
fixture.
a choice.
Uh
Imagine adopting Dortmund after what AC Milan has showed you.
It looks like a straightforward Barcelona win, but Dortmund is another attacking side. They don't care about defending. Barcelona also don't care about defending this season. It's a fixture that can spring up something, but a neutral will back Barcelona to go uh, through. Yinka, just quickly, Bayern Inter. What do you expect? You have you've had Inter has had to play a lot of matches recently. There has been injuries and fatigue, rotation. What do you see playing out in that match?
Well, I agree with you that it's a game that can go either way. Both teams are in form. Both teams are also, quite good quality wise. They've got, quite a lot of quality players. I was less optimistic about the fixture, say 2 or 3 weeks when it was certain that we were going to face Bayern. I was less optimistic. But I've received some good news over the past 2 weeks with certain injuries to certain, Bayern players, and
Alfonso
for me,
Davies is out.
Alfonso Davies
Musiala
is
is
out.
out.
I think they've lost a couple of defenders as well, and then Musiala this evening, which I've
Upamecano
just
is out too.
I was hoping that Bisek would do the
That's
job on
actually
on
bad news.
Musiala during the international break, but Bisek did not understand the assignment, and he didn't do what he was sent there to do. But all the same, God still. I'm sorry to say this, but God still answered my prayer anyway, because, like I've been saying in the group, I feel like if there's a team that is designed to counter Inter perfectly, it would be Bayern. And that's because they have players that are really good in 1v1 situations. Inter struggles a lot when they play against dribblers. They have Sane, they have Olise, they have Musiala, who is now injured anyways. I think
Gnabry,
Nabi.
Gnabry, so players that are quite tricky in one, even if they cannot
Harry
beat you
Kane
with
is actually very
dribbling,
good also.
they can beat you with pace and stuff like that. So Inter would need to be really attentive defensively. But at the same time, Bayern has a very strong weakness. Strong weakness is it's somewhat ironical in a way. But Bayern has a weakness that Inter can exploit. Um, in the Bayern
They
are prone to
concede quick goals.
counterattacks. They concede counterattacks a lot. And I think that Inter, if they play their cards well, if they sit back to absorb a bit of pressure and exploit Bayern on the counter, they've actually got a chance. It's a good thing that the first leg is in Germany, so Inter can actually go there, play on the counter, get a decent result, and play for their chances at the San Siro. But like you said, I think it can go anyway. Inter can end up losing the first leg 2-0, win the second leg 2-0, and then it goes to penalties. So anything can happen. I do hope Inter wins. With the injuries that Bayern have at the moment, it does give Inter a bit of a chance as well. Because if I was seeing it as if I was seeing it as 60-40 in Bayern's favor previously, I would say it's now like 50-50 in my opinion.
Ahmed, PSG Aston Villa. Aston Villa in good
Well,
form.
definitely they're in good form, but likewise, PSG are very consistent recently. They've shown us that they are a little more reliable than the star-studded side we've seen in previous years. Now that they've uh, gone away from the shadows of having uh, players that they used to depend on solely, like Mbappe and Neymar, now they are a more all-rounded
And
squad.
Messi,
They
and
have
Messi,
everyone.
and Messi. Complete it.
God bless you.
Alabosi.
So now they have everyone contributing their quota. They have a more balanced side, a more balanced team. They've gone away from the big names. You understand? Now their central back pairing is Marquinhos and a relatively unknown name who has proven to be very reliable. Bruno Mendes is very well
Actually,
on
what's
tongue.
the guy's name?
Imagine we can't even pronounce his name properly. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, he's a
They've
Colombian,
gone
I
away
think, or
from
Ecuadorian. Pacho or
the
something.
star-studded side we used to expect so much from that used to disappoint us. Now they've been impressive. They did Liverpool in a way, I've not seen Liverpool struggle the way they struggled against PSG. It's been a while I saw Liverpool struggle like that. So that's the kind of consistency they've shown recently. So going into this game against an Aston Villa side that has been equally impressive. This is a tie that could be tricky, but I expect the uh, better performing individuals of PSG. Dembele is having it better than he has had it in recent years. Due is magnificent. Faratelia, you understand, they have plethora of stars that are actually on top currently. So I believe they have a better all-round game that's going to that's going to get the job done against Aston Villa. It is not like I'm completely ruling out Aston Villa, but I believe PSG should edge the tie over both legs.
Okay, quick predictions. Still on PSG Aston Villa. So, Ahmed, you tell me your prediction. Yinka, you tell me your prediction. PSG Aston Villa. Ahmed.
Mm, now it's tough. It's tough actually with the addition of Rashford and
Asensio.
this former Madrid star, Asensio. They've been impressive. So I think a 2-1 PSG win first leg.
2-1 PSG win. Who qualifies?
Yes,
Who
PSG
qualifies?
obviously.
PSG.
PSG.
Yinka, PSG Villa.
Well, I also think PSG should win. It's in France, right?
Yeah.
So I also think PSG should win. My biggest worry is if PSG do not win convincingly in the first leg, they might not qualify. And that's mainly because of Unai Emery. I think that he's got the experience to handle games like this. And if he's able to, and he's got, quite a lot of quality players in that squad as well. So if he's able to get very decent result, say 2-1, Unai Emery with his experience could get, a very good result at Villa Park and might just qualify. But first leg, I'll say PSG win.
PSG win.
Yes.
Qualifies.
I'm not able to say at the moment, but if I'm not able to say, like I said, uh, it depends on the result of the first leg. If Enrique is able to
Yeah,
capitalize and get a very good win, say 3-0, then obviously Enrique PSG will qualify. But if it's a narrow win, I think I'll still give Aston Villa a chance.
Okay.
one
Fair
thing is
point.
they must not do the mistake of underrating this Aston Villa side.
They
Aston
must
Villa
not.
side.
That Aston Villa
That
side,
is one mistake they shouldn't make.
they've got just the right players to hurt you, and they've got an experienced manager. So
Definitely.
anything can happen.
Barcelona Dortmund. Yinka.
Well, who's playing first leg at home? Barca, shey?
Yeah.
Well, I think Barca
Regardless
will.
of regardless
Barca,
of whoever is at home, I have Barcelona taking that time.
I think Barca will win. Dortmund have not been particularly strong this season. Although they also have players that are quite good on the ball and can also cause any team trouble, but they would have to be on their day. Barca this season have been quite good, really really good. I saw their game. I saw part of the game against Atleti, and I saw the one that they played before that. Part of that game as well. The outside trap is something that marvels me. I don't understand how they do it. It's just almost like that defense. They're just in sync, and they just know when to step up, when to stay back, and
The
I think
whole
that
team
that's
actually, not just the defense.
and I think
Even in
that that's
attack,
a very key
you see
weapon
that
that they
same.
have that teams really struggle against. I think that Dortmund too might struggle against it. So Barca win. I'm saying say if if Dortmund manage to get a goal, Barca might be there like 3-1 or 4-1. If Dortmund do not score, Barca win say 2-0, maybe 3-0.
Fair point. Arsenal Madrid.
Oh, as Ahmed predicted Barca.
He said
Oh,
Barca
okay. He
win.
said, oh,
Even
anywhere, woman,
even
even they play to the sky.
even his friendly match.
Okay, so what's the next match?
Arsenal Madrid. Emirates.
Uh, at the Emirates. Well, Arsenal with their fans behind them, I think they
Those
will, and with Real Madrid's defense, I think that Arsenal have, maybe a goal in them, a goal or two. Um, but Real Madrid's attack. Come on. Especially now that Arsenal are missing a key piece in their centre back area. They would have to face that match with a centre back pairing that they've not used too much this
Yakubu
season.
Kiwior.
So I think that Real Madrid will defeat them. But it might just be a high scoring game like Real Madrid usually does, say 3-2 or 4-3 or something. Because Real Madrid obviously will concede as well.
Ahmed.
Well, as much as Madrid's defense has been questionable, at the same time, Arsenal's attack recently are actually struggling. So they've had to make do with Merino in recent times to top strike for them. So on a night like this, I don't see such I don't see such troubling Madrid too much because they will be overwhelmed with trying to contain Madrid's super attack. So I think Madrid would edge it 2-0 away in a minute.
Madrid win 2-0. No,
Yes.
no go for Arsenal.
2-0, yes.
I was okay. Bayern Inter. I'll let Ahmed go first for this one. Bayern Inter.
The thing is, I tend to trust Inter more because over the course of the season, they've showed better consistency. They are a very balanced side. Inter is a team I respect so much because even when you defeat them, they are a side you can't take them to the cleaners because they are very balanced. Their shape is always perfect. You understand? It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort to score against this Inter side. So, based on these premises, I believe Inter would surprise. I believe Inter would beat Bayern.
Inter will beat Bayern.
Yes, over both legs. I'm not. Over both legs.
Over both legs. No. We are talking about
over both legs.
We are talking about Allianz Arena now. Who is winning at the Allianz Arena?
Okay, that would end in a draw.
Draw.
Only because Inter has been playing plethora of games recently. They played against Milan in midweek. They played last week against Udinese. They'll be playing another big match this weekend. Away to Parma this weekend. And they've been dealing with a lot of injuries themselves. As much as we're mentioning Musiala being injured, Inter also has a plethora of starters that are currently dealing with injuries. As much as they are mentioning that Lautaro is back, what version will we get because he's freshly back from injury? Thuram has been playing with a lot of medication. Dumfries is injured. DiMarco is being managed. So for this reason, I wouldn't give a win away at Bayern. So I think, but based on their consistent shape and form, regardless of whoever is in the starting 11, I believe they will do enough to get the draw.
Okay, so I think Dumfries is a very big loss for that game.
Yeah,
it would have been very, very useful on the counter. The good thing is that Inter in the league and Inter in the Champions League are two completely different teams from what I've seen. Inter tends to express themselves more in the league, thinking with the mindset that, okay, we can dominate most of the teams here. But in the Champions League, we've been more laid back. We tend to respect opponents more, defense first, and then take advantage of the few opportunities that we get. And I think that if we play like that against Bayern at the Allianz Arena, we have a very big opportunity to cut an upset. Because, like I said earlier, Bayern are not particularly good on the counter. They suffer a lot. I think it was Fabio Capello that mentioned, and once you mentioned it, I went to check. I think it was Fabio Capello, or I can't remember who said it, that Bayern are in 8th position for counters conceded in Bundesliga this season. So they concede a lot of counters, and it's a big weakness for them. If Inter can make use of Marcus Thuram very well. I hope he's rested this weekend. If we're able to rest him, if we get a very good version of Lautaro, I think we have a chance to get a draw in that first leg. And if we get a draw, I think we'll qualify.
Fair point. Uh, Enough said of the Champions League. Uh, this weekend, there are interesting fixtures that we should look forward to across the leagues, across the top leagues in Europe. In the EPL, we have the Manchester Derby. Uh, I don't even know if to call it a derby anymore, or
Well, it is still a derby.
we should just say we have Man City versus Manchester United.
Battle of the Bastards.
While in Italy, for whatever reason, Atalanta has played themselves into top four race, and Atalanta will be hosting Lazio. Igor Tudor will be going away to Roma. Milan will be hosting Fiorentina. Bologna will be hosting Napoli. I will just share the fixtures between us and we'll just have a quick discussion on them. Let me start with Ahmed. Manchester Derby. For United, that match is probably of little significance to them, probably just a matter of pride. They are not going to relegate, but even a win, yeah, as regards results, the impact of the result, but even a win will not help their league standing in any way significant. For Manchester City, anyways, and please, camera, please. For Manchester City, for our club, our new club, for Manchester City, they need a win in the top four to help their top four or top five race. That's considering if EPL gets the fifth slot.
They will get it.
Okay, for the top five race, Ahmed, what do you see playing out in that match? Where do you see the pendulum swinging? Who will be more hungry or hungrier?
Well, both sides will be hungry. Reason being that you actually said this match is of little significance to Manchester United. I think that is very wrong. In a season where they've been struggling really bad, there is no
There
hope
is no
of
kind of
any
beating
trophy.
that they've not collected this season. So what is there for
That's the
them?
point. As much as they've been receiving beatings, even in the first leg fixtures, when City are not, we're not struggling as at then. Manchester United won the game. As well, even though it was due to what's his name, Nuno, what's this guy's name, that came from Wolverhampton Wanderers. This City's midfielder
Gomez.
that made some errors that led to Manchester United coming back and winning that game. You understand? Games like this, as far as Manchester United is concerned, I can remember those years too when Milan had nothing to write home about. We always look forward to, let's say, spoil the party for our rivals, Inter. Manchester United are sort of in that situation right now. They would see another victory against City as something to celebrate over. That's the last trophy I think they can win this season. So for
So
that
they are still in
reason,
Europa.
very correct, but at the same time, they are doing very poorly in the league, and they would see themselves throwing stones in Man City's Gary as something to celebrate over. So I believe they would go into this game with utmost spirits. They would not come and roll over for Manchester City. At the same time, City be without Haaland, who is injured.
There's Mamouche.
Who else? There's Mamouche, but Haaland would always be Haaland. Yes, Mamouche offers something different, but Haaland would always be Haaland. And they just
Who do you
lost
see
to
winning? Who do you
Nottingham
see winning?
Forest. I think it would end in a draw.
Ahmed, are you sure you did not
I think
stake
it.
draw like this? This is your second draw.
I think it will. I think it will
I'm
end in a draw.
suspecting you. You can
Until then,
quickly,
they draw.
for the Manchester derby, just give us your prediction.
I also think a draw is the most likely result.
Where? How now?
Well, it's at Old Trafford.
We've
Man
United
City
have
win
pride to
abeg.
play for.
we've
We've also
always told you
seen
you have a City bias.
exactly. He has the City by half now. Don't mind it.
Oyinlemo.
City might win, but from where I sit, it looks most likely to end in a draw. I mean,
Sure.
Man U do not have anything to play for, but there's still that pride, and they are at home in front of their fans.
After losing to
They
Nottingham
will
Forest
rather grind
just
out a
last week.
0-0 draw than to lose that game. And
Well,
City are missing Haaland as well, so we'll see though.
I'm sure Onana will beg to differ. Anyways, uh, Yinka, this is your own fiction. Roma, Juve.
But Roma are the most involved team in the league this season. So at the moment, rather, Roma and Bologna. I'd like to see how Igor does against them, especially against an experienced tactician like Claudio Ranieri. Um, Roma is at home, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So I'm not going to lie, Roma are actually in form, and that's what the results say. But performance-wise, anybody that has seen them, over the last few games would know that they've not been particularly convincing.
it's been sad.
One
Very
penalty
correct.
here, one corner kick here. They just get the results, almost like Allegri's winning streak when he was Juventus coach during his later years,
Allegri is
obviously.
terrestrial bullet.
So um, I think that because Roma have that momentum, that mentality, that spirit, they would want to fight. So I do not see them losing that game. Juventus are still struggling to get
Quick,
out of their shell. So I'll say either a
quickly,
Roma win or a Roma draw.
quickly. Were you impressed with Tudor in the first match?
First game, no, not particularly. They were not great in that game. All I saw was fire, desire, but there was not much in terms of quality of play.
Desire to play nonsense. Nice one.
Hmm. This is that draw.
Roma UV, another draw. Hmm.
Another draw.
Okay. Atalanta
Weekend of
Lazio.
weekend of draws. Atalanta will beat Lazio.
Atalanta Lazio. Atalanta has successfully played themselves into top four race. We are going to talk about the top four race later in the show, but Atalanta Lazio, personally, I think I see a draw in that match. And for whatever reason, I don't know what's happening with Atalanta. They lost to Fiorentina in the last match, and something seems to be missing. Uh, I can't place it, but they are not just in the right place mentally. Lazio are also not doing well, but then this is an opportunity to uh, destabilize a rival in the top four race, and I think Lazio will come with fire. So I think that match will end out in a draw. Uh, if anybody would win, I would favor Atlanta to win.
I think Atalanta will win.
Well, let's see. Bologna Napoli.
That
Yinka,
is the match that I'm hoping for because this weekend presents another good opportunity for Inter to try to pull clear of Napoli. Bologna are also informed, like I said earlier. I think they've won their last fight in Serie. Napoli are just coming out of a bad spell. The international break came at a very good time for them, but
thanks
before
to
then
Ahmed's club.
they are just won one game in game 7.
Saw one Oshofri team.
But I still do not trust Napoli away. I think that away from home, they're still not there. So I would say that Bologna wins that game or they draw that game. I do not see Napoli winning. If Napoli wins the game, I think they might win the league. But we'll see.
I don't see Napoli losing it. I don't see Napoli losing this, and the reason is that when Conte back is against the wall, see him try to pull levels change it. I'm not saying they will win, but they'll definitely not lose. So
Well, they might get it. A draw is, I'm fine with the draw too. As long as they draw with Sha. Because what I've noticed is that over their last few games, they needed
I'm
their own
inclining
crowd
towards the
to
win.
pull them over the
I'm,
line.
I'm
You
inclining towards the
notice when they do something very flimsy, you see Lukaku trying to build up the crowd. You see Anguissa,
Vinicius
Lautaro did
behavior.
the same thing after just a minute
you
against
know,
Milan.
during very awkward times, I found it quite strange. Even against Inter, they did the same thing against which other team. I was like, is it pressure or what's going on? But then they went away to Como, they lost. They went away for another match again, they drew also. So I still do not trust them away when they don't have
Verona.
those fans.
Couldn't beat Venezia.
So
Venezia, he went to Venezia.
and that Bologna ground, that is one of the toughest ground. Inter is still going to that ground, which is why I'm expecting Bologna to take points off Napoli tomorrow. I mean this weekend. Because I'm almost certain that Inter is not going to win.
No. Inter will win. Inter will
Okay,
win. You
we'll
can
see.
stop it. Don't
We
spoil it.
didn't beat them at the San Siro. I hope you
Don't
know.
spoil.
The
Don't
dream was
spoil.
2-2.
Don't spoil the weekend for people. Inter will win. In any case,
No, not this
later
weekend. I'm talking about Bologna, the upper week. I mean, 2 weeks from now.
okay. In any case, later in the show, we're going to discuss in depth the top four race in Italy and in England, and we're also going to discuss some other fixtures across Europe.